Finally, let's get to the meat and potatoes of our setup, the materials page. This is where students, parents, and support personnel can really get lost in the weeds. So we have a few areas that we can address to cut back the clutter. Number one, let's think about the order. The way Schoology adds when you simply click Add Materials is it adds to the bottom of your page. This means by the end of even one grading period, let alone a semester or a year, you have to scroll all the way to the bottom to find what you need. The best practice would always be to have the most recent activities on the top. You do have the option to drag your item around, but if you get used to the habit to hover over this line, looks like I have to add one set of materials first. So let's go take a look at one of my courses I already have available. And I'm on my materials page. You'll see that if I simply add, let's go ahead and click Add Materials. And I'm going to add, let's go ahead and add a discussion. And I call this test. And I click Create. You'll notice that it is all the way down at the bottom. I can take that and I can drag it where I need it to go, but that can get kind of cumbersome as well. So let's say I want to add something now. If I hover over this little line right here, it turns green. I can click on it and I can add my materials. And voila, it'll be right where I need it to be. No more scrolling to the bottom and no more holding on to drag it. Making sure that we have the most recent on top and the oldest at the bottom will make it easier for students to find their materials right from the start. Next, let's think about color design. Imagine that you go to your first period and your red folder means overdue, but in your second class, they use red folders to mean do this now, and your third period class uses red folders for old complete materials. I personally will definitely get items lost in that clutter. Now, imagine if all day long as you went to classes, you knew that green meant current unit, white meant old units, and yellow meant basic course materials such as syllabus or timelines, and maybe purple was, let's say, your space to turn in late, whatever procedures that is. Not only would your materials page stay neat and tidy, but it would bring a sense of organization to your students that would add a much higher potential for success. Now, on to the labeling and nesting of folders. A simple name like Unit 1 will not help me find my missing work on fractions. However, if your folders have a unit lesson name and a date range attached, when a student goes into Hack and sees an item missing, the breadcrumb trail to get to it will be much faster. Consider the nesting of folders from grading periods, units, weeks, and lessons, all listed with dates. If I miss 2 days of school, I can locate those assignments without even knowing the name of what we were studying. On the flip side, I can look for a name if I didn't know when it happened. Both will make it easier for the student to find and complete materials and know which folder to go into. Next, we're going to talk about the description of content. There are numerous ways that you can add information to the parent folder, from pictures to text, to make these folders even easier to navigate. Here we have just some text. Here we have some links. And if I come into some of these folders, we're going to see options for adding images as well.